football. It is presented by Dr. Pepper. We're in Fort Worth, Amon Carter Stadium. It's homecoming here at TCU as the Horned Frogs take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. Now, these are two programs that haven't lived up to expectations so far this season, thanks in part they haven't won the close ones. Let's start with West Virginia. Mountaineers have dropped 3 straight, but look at their record in one-score games. 1-3 in the close ones. And the same could be said for TCU. TCU has dropped 3 of their last 4 games, but look at their record in one-score games. 1-2 in those close ones. Both of those losses have come right here at Amon Carter. And with that, we say hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custis, my partner Kelly Stauffer. Lauren Sisler's with us as well on the field. And Stauffer, dare I say, this is not your father's TCU squad, which has always been known for its defense. Defense is struggling. It's the offense that's been prolific, especially that dynamic receiver they got on the outside in Quentin Johnston.
If you had a lab and you went to build a wide receiver, if you knew what you were doing, you would come out with Quentin Johnston. Just ask OU from a week ago, 7 catches, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And if you blink, you're going to get mossed. This young man knows how to use his length. West Virginia, on the other hand, wants to run the ball. Neil Brown has always been that way, which means Letty Brown time. They need to rediscover that yards after contact guy that they had last year. Prolific in the box. He's a much better pass catcher this year than he was a year ago. But West Virginia, to win tonight, needs to establish a violent run downhill.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Johnston has been phenomenal. Letty Brown, that's the guy who they want to really get a lot of carries today for West Virginia. This is the 11th meeting between West Virginia and TCU. Mountaineers lead the series 6-4, and in fact, West Virginia has won the last 3 meetings, including the last one here in Fort Worth just 2 seasons ago. West Virginia won the toss. They're going to defer, so that means the Horned Frogs will get the football first. Evan Staley will kick things away, and back deep, Darius Davis and Amari DiMarcardo. This is Davis from the goal line. Cuts a seam, and look at Davis. He's got great speed. Davis to the 40, to the 30. Davis is going to take it all the way. An opening kickoff return for TCU. "100 yards to get things going here in Fort Worth."
Hopefully people got settled in their seats a little early, because Darius Davis just took that to the house. And both of these teams love their kickoff return game. West Virginia, on the other hand, is not real satisfied with kick coverage. You can see why.
Griffin Kell has come in for the point after. The junior out of Arlington.
I love that as a quarterback, when you're ahead before you ever take a snap.
Gotta love that, and that's exactly what the Horned Frogs needed. Davis, I tell you what, he's been clocked at a 4.3 in the 40, and he showed that speed here.
Yeah, basically catching it on the goal line, and he had a blocker up front, but then it's just really doing as much as he can to create his own shot. I thought he was going to get ran down, but then he had one more gear. What a privilege as an offense to be up by 7 before you ever have to take a snap. That's a good thing.
First kickoff return for a touchdown for Darius Davis. His 4th career touchdown, and he puts the Horned Frogs on top, 7-0. Kell will kick things away, and back deep. You want to talk about another prolific returner for West Virginia? They've got Winston Wright. He's got 2 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. In fact, earlier this season, the opening game of the season against Maryland, he took 198 yards to the house.
And neither kicker in this game, because has a habit of kicking it out of the end zone. So we might see a lot of kick returns tonight.
And this is right. Dropped it at the 1. Gathers it back and pulled down at the 10. So here comes the West Virginia offense, and we'll get our first look. Now, the Mountaineers do a 2-quarterback system, so get prepared for that. But they always start, it seems, with the redshirt senior and Jared Dagey, making his 20th career start. He is first right now in the Big 12. When you talk about passing yards per game, he averages 240. Letty Brown, offset right. That's right in motion, and they're going to get it to him. Right, he's close to a first down. Brought down at about the 19.
And because for Jared Dagey, it's really about doing the simple things well in the game of football. And he talked to us about that. He was very transparent that he just simply needs to follow the rules of the play. When there's a check down, go ahead and not be bashful, check it down. You don't always have to have a splash play.
They get it to Letty Brown. And that's a first down for West Virginia. Keep this in mind. West Virginia has scored a touchdown on its opening offensive possession in 5 of its 6 games this season. Here's Dagey. That's to the outside, and Bryce Ford Wheaton brought down by Tre'Vius Hodges-Tomlinson.
And so what you're going to see out of West Virginia, Neil Brown has always been really a run-first guy. It's the table setter for everything else that he wants to do. And now, in this day and age, college football, it's the run-pass option at times as well. And then Dagey just simply has to make really good decisions this evening.
Neil Brown in his 3rd season at West Virginia. He's 2-0, by the way, against TCU. Brown again.
And off goes the Brown.
And that's enough for a first down. Brown has been a head coach for 7 seasons. 4 of those came at Troy. Now 3 at here West Virginia. So 1st and 10 from West Virginia from their own 34. Dagey to pass, going deep, down the side, and caught. That's Sean Ryan, the junior out of Brooklyn, New York. He's a transfer from Temple, makes the catch. Big pickup for West Virginia.
And matched up on Hodges Tomlinson, man-to-man outside is what quarters coverage, which is prolific in Gary Patterson's TCU defense. It turns into man-to-man if a receiver goes vertical on the release, which Ryan did right there, and then a really good adjustment to the ball that was thrown slightly underthrown outside.
45-yard pickup for West Virginia. And again to the air. He was looking at Ryan again. He wanted a flag, and it comes in late. C.J. Caesar with the coverage. Now listen, Caesar got targeted a lot against Oklahoma. In fact, they went at him 5 times.
Defense, number 9, automatic first down, spot the foul.
David Alvarez is our referee. Oklahoma targeted him 5 times last week, and he gave up 104 yards.
Yeah, and you can see that Caesar was just holding before the receiver could get loose. And the reason Caesar is targeted is because Hodges Tomlinson is a true kind of NFL cover guy on the opposite side. And so you typically will throw away from Tomlinson.
Please reset the game clock to 12:14, please. 12:14. The previous play was an incomplete pass.
This drive is starting kind of quintessential Neil Brown in West Virginia when they're rolling. You mix in the run game, you get Letty Brown downhill, and then you get an efficient pass game out of Jared Dagey.
Here's Brown, and D. Winters comes flying in there, hit him.
Because tonight may come down to what happens in the red zone, as it typically does. West Virginia offensively hasn't been great at scoring touchdowns, although TCU defensively will give you some opportunities down in the red zone. The other matchup, you're going to have two of the best red zone offenses and defense against one another when TCU has the football.
Here's Dagey to the outside. That's complete. Michael Laughlin, the junior tight end. Third down coming for the Mountaineers.
That's a good example of Dagey just simply making the routine plays consistently. He's done it on this entire drive, and that's where his work really is as a quarterback that's played a lot of games. You a lot of times have to make the boring, mundane play consistently in order to move the football.
They'll go 5 wide. Bryce Ford Wheaton is at the bottom of your screen. They generally like to throw the fade to him in the red zone. But that almost got intercepted. And what a play by the safety, Michael Onyemeobi, in making his first career start, the 5th-year senior.
Onyemeobi actually should have picked this ball off. He's the safety in the middle of the field and is just reading the eyes of the quarterback and then timing it to the route. So you see a slant coming inside by Sean Ryan, and then the safety just read it well, just didn't finish on the ball well.
His field goal will be from 28 yards out. This is Casey Legg, the junior out of Charleston, West Virginia. It is good. So both teams have had the football. Both teams have scored. 7-3 our score here in the first quarter. And boy, it got started off with Darius Davis and the Horned Frogs up 4 here in the first quarter. And West Virginia, 9 plays, 79 yards, 3 minutes and 44 seconds. They get the field goal. 7-3 our score. In case you're wondering, the Horned Frogs 123-28 when they score first. When they score first. When they score first. When they score. Darius Davis back deep. Casey Legg kicked things away. Davis went 100 yards last time he touched it. This one's shorter. Fair catch called for. Let's go down to the field. Hey, Lauren Sisler, how are you?
Guys, how's it going up there? I know we're moving things quickly. You're about to see TCU quarterback Max Duggan. He had a career game last week against Oklahoma. Believe it or not, though, he'll be playing on a fractured right foot that he sustained a couple weeks ago against Texas Tech. But look, adversity has defined this kid. It's what makes him a competitor. He's tough as nails. He refuses to take no for an answer. He's committed to this team and is determined to lead this team to a winning record with 6 games to go here in the regular season.
You're right about that, Lauren. The junior playing with that broken bone in his foot. Second in the Big 12 right now in passing touchdowns with 13. Boy, did he have a career night against Oklahoma last weekend. Threw for 346 and 4 touchdowns. And Duggan through the air, and that's complete to Quentin Johnston.
Well, that certainly didn't take long for Duggan to find Johnston, and I don't blame him, quite frankly. That's why Max Duggan, I think, is playing the best football of his college life, as a matter of fact, because Johnston has become a prolific catcher of the football, a big play guy, and that was the run-pass option variety right there.
In fact, Duggan completing a career-high 65% of his passes right now. Yeah, that carry. Zach Evans, and welcome back. Zach Evans, 6 yards. Of course, Evans missed last week, but you want to talk about prolific running back. This is a kid, 5-star signee, the first in TCU history.
Yeah, he's simply a game changer for this program and really for this offense, certainly. Brings a run game that is as big play as Johnston is in the pass game.
From the pistol, it's Evans. Cuts back. That's a first down. Eight-yard pickup for Evans. Here's 1st and 10. Evans again over the right side. Lance Dixon makes the stop for West Virginia.
And Zach Evans is really a complete running back, as you can imagine. The #1 running back in the country when he came out, the 5-star guy, the first 5-star that Gary Patterson has recruited. And he's a slasher with home run ability that can get physical in the tackle box as well. And he can actually pass protect like he's a veteran. All of those things are outstanding at that position.
Kendre Miller has checked into the backfield. That is incomplete. He threw that to the outside to Blair Conway. Incomplete. 3rd down coming for TCU.
Well, as good as Quentin Johnston is at the X position, which is just simply an outside position, they need someone to balance him on the other side. And they're looking for Williams or Brown at the X wide receiver to complement Johnston on the other side.
Horned Frogs are going to go 5 wide here. Johnston at the bottom of your screen. Duggan flushed, sacked. Dante Steele comes in and makes the sack. He's the team leader in career sacks for West Virginia and tackles for loss.
Jared Bartlett did a great job from his bandit linebacker / defensive end position, and then Dante Steele is there to clean it up. So it was the game's inside, and Steele wraps around from right to left and hits pay dirt in the backfield.
7-yard loss. Jordy Sandy will come and punt things away. Isaiah Esdale standing back at his own 7. Sandy went down, but no flag at all. West Virginia will start from their own 6. 40-yard punt. 7-3 our score here in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from West Virginia. From their own 6. Daggy to the outside, and that's complete to Winston Wright Jr.
And Brian, you and I talked about it. That matchup with Wright on one side and Sam James in the other slot. West Virginia wants to attack the nickel position in this Gary Patterson defense, and that's a good example of it right there. You would expect Wright and James to get targeted early and often tonight.
10-yard pickup for the Mountaineers. This is Brown bouncing off of tacklers, and he's loose. That's another 1st down. Noah Daniels pushes him out of bounds.
When we talked to West Virginia about why their run game hasn't worked, there were a lot of answers to it, but one of them is the up front. The offensive line just simply wasn't getting a hat on a hat. They were getting to their landmarks, but they weren't getting there with quality technique. Liddy Brown is up to the challenge. We'll see if the offensive line is better tonight.
Daggy and just throws that one away as he takes a big hit. Dylan Horton made the hit.
Yeah, on the quarterback, and Corey Bethley was the big tackle that sorted out that screen really well. It was a double screen, actually. Screen to one side, screen back to the right.
Holding defense, number 94, 10-yard penalty. The yardage will result in a 1st down.
Well, I talked about Corey Bethley from his defensive tackle position, sorting out that screen. Well, you can't go out there and tackle the potential screener. And 94 does a tremendous job on those effort plays from his tackle position and gets called for it right there.
So now it's 1st and 10 for West Virginia from their own 40. Again, this drive started at their own 6. Daggy gives it to Brown. He stumbles forward for a couple.
Because last year, at one time, Liddy Brown was averaging over 7 yards on runs between the tackles.
Wow.
And that's what this West Virginia offense is looking for again, is those yards after contact to kind of supplement the somewhat shoddy play of their offensive line through half of this season thus far.
Well, listen, the Mountaineers, they've averaged just 75 yards rushing a game in their 4 losses this season, compared to 185 in their 2 wins. To the outside to Brown. Wyatt Harris knocks him out of bounds.
There's one of those good decisions by Jared Dagey. He talked to us about, how do you get it going again? There are 3 to 5 plays where he has to eliminate negatives, where he doesn't go to the obvious choice. Make the routine plays. He and I had a good conversation about playing the quarterback position is rarely about the explosive splash stuff. You have to do the mundane things really well.
Mountaineers go 5 wide again. Dagey pump fakes, flush, throws on the run. That's complete. Isaiah Estelle picks up about 7 after the catch as well. 10-yard pickup.
A good job by Dagey keeping that play alive. That isn't exactly the strength of Jared Dagey's game, but Estelle is going to set on the sideline on the right side, even though his quarterback was reading to the left initially. That's a really good job of extending a play and moving the chain.
Tony Mathis Jr. has checked in at running back for the Mountaineers. 1st and 10 from the Horned Frog 45, and it's Mathis spinning, and that's a first down for West Virginia. Down to the field, and Lauren Sisler.
Yeah, Kel, I want to go back to what you said about those 3 to 5 negative plays. If Jared Dagey misses a progression, an RPO decision, something along those lines, Coach Brown said there are 3 to 5 decisions that are preventing him from playing at a high level. He just needs to follow the rules and play and trust what he's doing. It's confidence and trust in himself that are 2 of his greatest tools that can help him win football games.
Yeah, and Lauren, trust what he sees. He knows what he's doing, but as a quarterback, you can't hesitate in what your eyes are telling you, and too often he does that.
Again, Mathis gets the call. Mathis running hard. Van Zandt makes the stop for TCU.
And Tony Mathis emerging as the true number 2 running back for West Virginia is essential in the second half of the season. Lenny Brown was kind of taking on water in the first half and starting to press a little bit, getting worn down because of his workload. And so Tony Mathis needs to be that really true number 2 running back.
They say he's just a downhill physical runner for West Virginia. That was a 7-yard pickup he had. He gets it again. That's another first down. They'll move the sticks. Take a look here, the sophomore out of Orlando. So this drive has been methodical here for West Virginia.
It looks very much like their first drive.
Yep.
But the bottom line is they're playing an offense with TCU that scores essentially every time they get in the red zone. Touchdowns at almost 80%, which is elite.
How about Sam James here? Jet sweep. He's inside the red zone.
That jet sweep is kind of an addition to this offense because they lost their slasher as a running back. Alex Sinkfield, they call him Sink, transferred to Boston College, and he was the slasher, more of a home run guy in this offense. They don't have him. They have 2 really good physical downhill guys. A little bit of that jet sweep will go a long way.
Dagey to Brown. No, throws to the outside. It's good fake. He was looking at Winston Wright.
He's a good ball handler in that run-pass option.
Yeah, he is.
So he sticks the ball in there, and the sleight of hand as that linebacker steps up to take the run part of that run-pass option. He pulls it, but it was covered really well outside by Hodges Tomlinson.
11th play of this drive. At the bottom of your screen is Bryce Ford Wheaton. And keep in mind, C.J. Caesar is guarding him. That's the junior who got targeted a lot last week. But they give it to Brown, and he's close to a first down.
That might have been a 4-down territory call by Neil Brown, who is really a co-play caller with Jared Parker. They kind of double team it. And I think they decided, let's run it. If it's a productive run and we get to 4th and short, we're going to go for it. I think that was decided on the play before.
They're going to go for it here. 4th down. Less than a yard. You can see West Virginia convert 73% of these. They give it to Brown, and he converts again for the Mountaineers.
That's Letty Brown at his best. In the tackle box, tight spaces. Even though he's a big running back at 6 foot tall and almost 220 pounds, watch him get skinny. There's really nothing there. That's a muddy hole. That isn't that well blocked. And he gets his own anyway and extends this drive.
So now it's 1st down and 10 for West Virginia from the 11 of TCU. And it's Brown again, and he's inside the 10.
Don't you get the sense that West Virginia is more than happy to just drive Liddy Brown in and supplement with Tony Mathis, efficient Daggy in the run-pass option, and keep that prolific Max Duggan and people off to the sideline?
And you can see the Mountaineers have had the ball for the majority of this first quarter. As we come inside a minute now, this is the 14th play of this drive. Mountaineers said they want to run it and then eventually get to that secondary of TCU. And it's Brown again. Brought down at the 5. D. Winters wraps him up. Another 3-yard pickup.
Because what you just said is really important. They want to run it to get to their shot plays, but they're not against continuing to run it if you don't have an answer. And TCU hasn't had an answer all year. They're giving up, TCU defensively, over 210 yards rushing a game, which is unheard of in the Gary Patterson era. But Neil Brown is about running it, and until someone says, hey, we have an answer, he's going to continue to pound it.
3rd and goal. Or 4. Call it third down and 4. Ford Wheaton at the bottom of your screen, and they're going to call a timeout.
West Virginia.
11 seconds left here in the quarter. ESPN. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Features another Big Ten title and battle. Penn State, who took a loss to Illinois today, taking on Ohio State. The Buckeyes taking on Indiana.
9 overtimes today, Penn State. Nobody wanted to win that game. Illinois eventually did by the kind of mercy rule.
3rd down and 4 coming for West Virginia. This drive has gone nearly 8 minutes. 89 yards. 15th play here of the drive. Ford Wheaton at the bottom of your screen. And they give it to Brown. Touchdown, West Virginia.
TCU simply did not have an answer to Letty Brown in the run game on that drive.
"15 plays, 94 yards.
It's not hard because when you get offensive line movement like this, it's about alignment, assignment, who to get and how to get them on the offensive line. And Zach Frazier and company, the starting center, just absolutely did it consistently on that drive.
Extra point is good. Coach Brown said Zach Frazier, the unequivocal leader of our offense, he has been so consistent all season long, and he said, in my opinion, probably one of the best centers in the entire conference.
Yeah, and just look how Zach Frazier just gets a fit. And then the left guard as well, and Gamitter. And that's what it is about up front. You don't have to pancake guys. you have to cover guys up. And West Virginia told us that. Offensively, their offensive line was getting to their targets. They call them landmarks. They just weren't getting there with the best of technique. Hand placement, you know, the footwork to get there. All of that worked well on that drive multiple times.
Just 7 seconds left here in the quarter, and Letty Brown, another touchdown, his 7th rushing touchdown this season, 8th overall.
And you got that nice little supplement by Tony Mathis on that drive as well, who has 3 carries, 7.3 yards a pop. That is essential. We talked about the absence of Alec Sinkfield, who is at Boston College. 15 plays, 94 yards, and it started at the 6-yard line. That's a gut wrencher right there.
But more importantly, the 8 minutes, basically, they almost took off the clock here.
Max Duggan is over there having Gatorade all that time.
He probably took his finals and everything after that drive.
No
he had so much time. Casey Legg and kick things away. Davis back deep. They kick it away from him. Mercado call for the fair catch.
That's pretty good strategy, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't kick it to Davis, and the other guy does a nice job of fair catching. You get it on the +20 or on the 25-yard line. So all of that is good stuff, but that game within a game already happening in special teams because of that 100-yarder by Darius Davis to start this shindig.
So one play, basically, here for the Horned Frogs. And Max Duggan, Zach Evans, offset right for Duggan. And he's going to look to throw it. And that's complete to Johnston. And that's going to wrap up the first quarter of play. 17-yard pickup. So we've completed one. And it's the Mountaineers trying to put it into a 3-game losing streak. They're up 10-7 on TCU.
Max Duggan's family, though, TCU has the ball, and Max Duggan's family has not missed any games this season. They drive over 10 hours to get here from their hometown of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Mom Deb, sister Megan there in the TCU family section. But where's Max's dad, Jim? Well, he's got his own seat that he actually scouted and purchased a season ticket for somewhere behind the get a coach's view, see what the defense is doing, what kind of coverages Max is getting. And on the flip side, he likes watching other quarterbacks from the same vantage point. You know, he says it's fun for him. Different vantage point for him.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
How about that?
Dad is in the end zone critiquing my game as I'm playing quarterback.
It's unique, huh?
Yeah, that's unique. That's very gentle of you to say it that way. Overbearing comes to mind, but I'm not privy to their relationship. But Dad is certainly doing his work as a former coach, nonetheless. Maybe Lauren can let us in on that relationship a little bit.
That's Zach Evans. Zach Evans has got a first down, and he's in West Virginia territory.
Yeah, so Jim Duggan told me that he doesn't miss coaching. He actually retired from coaching before Max was a freshman here at TCU. He wanted to come and watch more games. He doesn't miss coaching at all, though, probably because he's getting his fill of it.
I was going to say,
here, you know?
I beg to differ. He is coaching.
He is coaching. He says after the long drive back home on Sundays, he'll rewatch the entire game, make his critiques, and then focus on packing, preparing for the trip the next week. He loves football. He loves watching his son play, and he said maybe one day he'll actually miss coaching, but hey, it sounds like this is the perfect fit for him.
You might miss coaching because when Max is done playing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Look at that, young Max.
Dante Steele makes that stop. Evans, the ball carrier, and now it's the Horned Frogs trying to get their running game going here against West Virginia.
Max Duggan, you can see, has been suited up to play this game a long time, and he might be one of the toughest quarterbacks I've ever come across. And Jerry Kill, a special assistant to Gary Patterson here, would tell us the same thing. That young man has played through a ton, and a ton is asked of him in this kind of hybrid offense. Heavy run, offensive line play, coupled with the air raid of the pass here.
And they go with the jet sweep. And I'll tell you what, Jared Bartlett was not having it. He levels Darius Davis as soon as he got the rock.
You want to clip this under the theme of keep your eyes right. Bartlett keeps his eyes right because he has the edge when that sweep comes to him, and that's exactly what it looks like. Go ahead and blow it up because your eyes took you to the right place.
Scored their first time out of the half.
Horned Frogs will call a timeout. Fourth down for TCU from the West Virginia 43. And Jordy Sandy has come in to punt things away. Sandy, by the way, you know, he's the sixth oldest player, basically, and I should say sixth oldest punter, eighth oldest player in college football. He's 28. 28. And he punts things away. Estelle calls for the fair catch at the 8-yard line. Hey, Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. It's a must-have for all Big 12 fans. Next Saturday, these same Mountaineers, they're going to host Iowa State. Comes your way at 2 Eastern. Then on Halloween, it's the Big 12 Women's Soccer Championship. Round Rock, Texas. If you're a Big 12 fan, you simply have to have it. Talk to you about a 2-quarterback system for West Virginia, and Garrett Green has now come in for West Virginia. He's more of a running quarterback. Redshirt freshman. Tony Mathis in the backfield with him. And he gives it to Mathis. He's across the 10.
And so, because what Garrett Green is he's the second best running back on this team. That's what he is. And they come in to run the football, and they will hurry up because they're going to be run-centric when Garrett Green is in the game.
Green. And this one's whistle dead. We get a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 50, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's on the left tackle, Brandon Yates. That's West Virginia's first penalty of the game.
And because I think Garrett Green would be much more than just a sub package if he grasped the pass game part of what West Virginia wants to do. Neil Brown wants him to advance in that area, but right now it's a very run-heavy group when number 6 is in the game.
And here's Green. He's going to keep it, and Green breaks loose. Garrett Green across midfield and forced out of bounds at about the 25 by D. Winters. The redshirt freshman out of Florida goes 67 yards.
He has a little giddy up, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
The quarterback read game. And so the in man on the line of scrimmage jumps upfield to the running back, and so Garrett Green pulls it and then gets out the back door on that quarterback zone read. This is exactly what this young man has brought consistently to this West Virginia offense.
Mathis in motion. Green keeps it. And brought down at the 25.
We talked about Alex Sinkfield not being in this offense, but the in-man on the line of scrimmage, or whoever is going to be responsible for the edge, is the guy that Green is reading. It's very simple. It's kind of old school quarterback read now. They do a lot of RPO stuff and a lot of different things now, but that's old school quarterback zone read, and Garrett Green is really proficient at it.
And listen, Green can throw it. Now, he was a standout catcher in high school, so he's got a big arm. It's Mathis.
Yeah, with those catchers, they talk about the pop time. When you catch the ball and when it pops into the glove of throwing it to second base, that quick pop time. He had a great pop time because he has a quick release. And they want to see more of that in the pass game, but you have to understand the academic part, the progression part of the pass game before you can be trusted with it.
Third down. 5, let's call it. From the TCU 23. They go with the jet sweep to right. And he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Dylan Horton with the stop.
You want points, B-Cuss, or are you leaving Green out there?
Give me some points. It's early.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kick the field goal.
And once again, West Virginia dying out, not getting it into the end zone. You don't get blue ribbons for threes when you're playing a TCU offense that scores touchdowns at almost 75%. So you wonder, kind of in the deep second half, if these field goal attempts are going to come back to haunt West Virginia.
Casey's leg, his leg's been perfect so far this season. Already made a 28-yarder. That was from 38. And he's still perfect on the season. 12 for 12. And it's the Mountaineers. 6-point lead here in the second quarter. 13-7, our score. TCU about to get the football. That means we'll get another look at Quentin Johnson, who was the You Got Moss Award winner this week.
Let's go to last play. TCU versus Oklahoma. Who getting the gloves this week? Quentin Johnson goes up, makes the catch over Joshua Eaton for the touchdown. And I want you to look at the hand that he put up there, Alex. He put that hand down low to basically tell that man, hey, you too small. Hey, Joshua Eaton, you know what the words are.
And you know what? Randy Moss sent him some signed gloves since he was the You Got Moss Award winner this week. And you know what? Quentin showed them all week in practice.
Oh, boy. He was awfully proud of those, no question. But this young man makes a habit of mossing people, no question.
Here's a little pooch kick. And fielded by TCU at the 27, down to the field again in Lauren.
Yeah, guys, and here's the deal. Quentin Johnston, a proud owner of those new You Got Moss gloves. He was super proud when that was awarded to him this week in practice, but he said it's something he's worked on in the offseason, going up, getting those 50-50 balls. As a big receiver, he said it's a no-brainer. I should always be able to go up and get those contested balls.
Well, and his quarterback is counting on that.
Yeah.
They learn one another. They have great chemistry, does Johnston as Matt Duggan. And if you're 6'4", you might as well use that length. And that's exactly what that young man learned, and just absolutely tore OU up in a losing effort nonetheless, but was sensational.
Johnson at the top of your screen for Duggan. Back to pass, looking, and he's going to swing this one out to Evans in the flat. Evans down the sideline. Work that sideline, Evans does, as Nick Troy Fortune.
Good read by Max Duggan. There was two vertical routes down the field that were well covered by West Virginia. And then Evans was actually the third look on his swing route from his running back position. Evans not only threw to the right guy, but he threw an accurate pass that led to the yards after the catch.
22-yard pickup. Here's Duggan again, looking, and he's looking for it. Looked like he was looking for Johnson. That's over the middle, batted away. And there's flags. Charles Woods. The pass was intended for Tay Barber.
I think it was Sean Mahone that was on the coverage, and I thought in real time that definitely Mahone got there a little bit too early, and I think the official is going to agree with us.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
It was actually Charles Wood, like you said, but that was the wrong place to go for Max Duggan. That was a skinny post down the middle of the field with the safety already on high alert. And Woods breaks on the ball. and just blows that up. Just arrives a little bit too early.
Yeah, too early.
I think he had it defended well. You just can't go through the back of the receiver to get to that ball.
So 1st and 10. Duggan. That's complete. Savion Williams with the catch. That's another first down for TCU.
And Savion Williams is one of those outside guys that needs to become a consistent complement to Quentin Johnston, that X-receiver on the opposite side of Johnston's Z receiver outside.
14-yard pickup. Duggan's going to keep it. And brought down at the 20. Lance Dixon makes the stop.
Both of these defenses tonight play similar coverage. They start in kind of a quarter shells type coverage, and then they do some variations of that. Sometimes they will spin to just a single high, but most of the time they play some type of split field man-to-man coverage like West Virginia was on the play before.
This is Evans, and he goes inside that red zone. And keep in mind, again, TCU, they have scored on all of their red zone possessions so far this season, all 23 of them. In fact, 17 of those positions have ended with a touchdown.
Yeah, and that's the number that I focus on. It's 74% touchdowns. Somewhere around 65 is an elite offense. They're scoring about 10 percentage points better than elite.
The interesting thing, the Mountaineers defense have been holding opponents to about 69% in the red zone this season. That's first in the Big 12. That's complete. With Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown is brought down at about the 12-yard line.
And we've already seen that red zone offense-defense playing out with the other matchup. West Virginia isn't great at getting touchdowns. West Virginia's defense is really good at not giving the opposition touchdowns. So that red zone matchup tonight is going to be essential.
Strength on strength here. Clock keeps on ticking. Duggan has been perfect so far through the air on this drive. Gives this one to Evans. He's brought down at about the 6.
And with Evans being back again, he wasn't playing against OU a week ago. As we see a defensive player, Fortune is down after the play. But Evans gives a little more diversity deep in the high red zone, which TCU is in right now.
That's Nick Troy Fortune, left corner for West Virginia. They tend to him. We'll be right back. For TCU, from the West Virginia 7. Quentin Johnston at the top of your screen. Matched up there with Charles Woods. Duggan to Evans. And he plows forward. Bartlett makes the stop. Third down coming for the Horned Frogs in the 8th play of this drive. Kendre Miller has come into the backfield. Third down and 3. Johnston now at the bottom of your screen. Duggan looking for him, throws the fade to Johnston, too high. Darrell Porter Jr. in coverage.
And that was all done by formationing. They condensed the formation. They brought in Tyler Guyton, 92, who is actually an offensive lineman, just to go top shelf to Q Johnston, and this is just a bad throw. It was a great design. You created the one-on-one outside that you would want with Johnston, but your quarterback, Max Duggan, just has to give Johnston an opportunity.
9th play of the drive. Horned Frogs are going to go 5 wide. They've scored on every red zone possession so far this season. Duggan escapes, throws, he's got him in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Tay Barber.
Quentin Johnson gets double teamed up top, which leaves Tay Barber all alone underneath. It just wasn't great communication, obviously, in coverage. And remember what was going on in the backfield at that time. Max Duggan was extending the play just a little bit, and it allowed Tay Barber to come free.
So now TCU 24 for 24 when it comes to red zone possessions as they go 9 plays, 74 yards. They do it in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. And it's the Horned Frogs with a 1-point lead on the Mountaineers. Fear the Frogs here in Fort Worth. That's going to cost them.
Kick out of bounds, kicking team. First down, 35-yard line.
So because if you and I were those two defenders and there was an in-breaking route and you were going to take him, you would communicate to me, you, stay out, whatever you needed to say, and I would know that I would jump on an out-breaking route and not obviously have two guys jumping inside. Right there, you need to tell me if I'm 29, stay outside. I have the in-breaking route. And then if there's a guy that comes out there, boom, I'm sitting there waiting. But in that case, you had two covering one and no one covering the open receiver.
Daggy back in under center, and that one's to O'Laughlin, his tight end. That's complete. Now this is the 4th offensive series here for West Virginia. Their first, well, they went 10 plays. They got a field goal out of it. The second offensive series, 6 plays. Result was a touchdown. And their third, they went 8 plays and another field goal. So this is the 4th offensive series. And it's Daggy back to pass. Plenty of time, and he's going to keep it. He's got a first down.
When Jared Daggy runs the football, it almost always means a good decision because he doesn't throw it in harm's way. In this case, he gets his squad to 3rd and very short.
Well, you know, initially they had it past the sticks, but then in the spot here, they put it at the 44, so he's a yard shy. So it's 3rd and a yard for West Virginia. Let's see if this is Letty Brown time. No, Diggy's going to keep it. That sneak should be enough.
Mike Laughlin comes in that short motion by the Y or the tight end and then ends up in the push position right behind the quarterback to give a little extra movement up front.
They needed a yard, they got 2.
And how about taking the snap underneath the center and not 3rd and a foot, not snapping it 5 yards back? Exactly.
Under 4 minutes until the half. Daggy looking, he's got right, and he makes the catch. Out of bounds at the 15. TJ Carter was in coverage. Big play for the Mountaineers. It's 40 yards, and they are in business again.
The vertical route takes the safety deep, and then TJ Carter thinks that Wright is going to continue across the field or at least to the post. And it was a great set of the inside foot by Wright, and then he breaks back out to the corner, and TJ Carter was left guessing.
Right now in the slot, the bottom of your screen. Here's the wide receiver screen up top to Ford Wheaton. And he's brought down at the 2.
Good ball handling once again by Daggy. You fake the zone run to the right, throw the quick screen. It's actually a version of the tunnel screen outside. The lead blocker was the big boy. Number 50, Brandon Yates, was the tackle getting outside. You sneak slightly inside, giving that faux zone look to the right, and the big tackle, Yates, is sneaking out and blocking for the wide receiver.
Here's Brown, and Letty Brown has scored again. West Virginia retakes the lead.
Football is so much easier offensively if you have an explosive somewhere along the way. And West Virginia just experienced that.
Every time West Virginia has had the football, they have put points on the board. Casey Legg, extra point is good. And the Mountaineers now with a 6-point lead as they go 6 plays, 65 yards. They do it in 2:26.
So you have the explosive, and then Daggy gets under center, by the way, doesn't go into shotgun, and then you give it to your closer, Letty Brown. And West Virginia talked to us about that they needed Letty Brown to be, score touchdowns. The yards after contact. And look at those drives right there. The thing that you see, though, 2 of them resulted in field goals, not touchdowns. And remember what you have on the TCU side of the equation offensively. You have an elite touchdown scoring TCU offense. We'll see if that comes back to haunt West Virginia in the second half.
Also keep in mind, West Virginia will get the football to begin the second half. And, you know, Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs have had some issues when it comes to winning games here at home. In fact, you know, TCU is 12-10. That's a .545 win percentage here at home since the start of the 2018 season. And among Big 12 teams, only Kansas, who took another home loss today to Oklahoma, who is 5-16, has a worse home record during that time
crazy.
period.
That's why Gary Patterson is taking a little bit of heat here, right? You're familiar with this place. You lived here. It's his defense not performing well and not winning games at home.
Another pooch kick. And the Horned Frogs have a little bit of issues here fielding that. And they'll start from their own 20. Now, the good thing here for TCU is that they've had stability here. As you take a look at the home record that I was just talking about, because again, Gary Patterson's been here for 21 seasons. You know, since his first season in 2001, all other FBS programs here in Texas have had at least 4 head coaches during that time. And the Horned Frogs, best record in the state since that time. So he's certainly delivered. Here's Duggan to Evans. That's about a 4-yard pickup for the Horned Frogs. You certainly want to get some points on the board here before the half, considering West Virginia's going to get it to begin the second half.
No question about that. 2 timeouts left, so kind of quintessential 2-minute offense right here.
Here's Duggan over the middle. Johnston, and he's loose. Look out, Quentin Johnston to the 30. Mahone pushes him out of bounds. But you talked about how this offense can strike quickly.
Oh my goodness, and it's the ball placement and read by Max Duggan, and then it's Quentin Johnston on the 50-yard reception. Watch the snatch of it. Down low at his knees, he snatches it without breaking stride and then bounces it outside.
I think Andrew Coker with a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 74, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
But Quentin Johnston is a long physical receiver, but he's also a terrific route runner and very good catcher of the ball. It seems like an oxymoron if you're a receiver, but not all receivers catch it naturally in a wide radius like Q Johnston does.
Got 85 yards receiving right now. Evans gets the carry. Give him about 3 yards. Let's go down to the field and Lauren.
Yeah, and I talked to Max Duggan this week, and he has so much trust and confidence in Johnston. He says he has such a knack for getting open, manipulating guys, and making them miss.
Q Johnston had 185 yards receiving against Oklahoma. That was a career high for him. 2nd and 12 here for the Horned Frogs. Duggan flushed. He'll keep it. Eludes one tackler. Charles Woods brings him down. Third down coming for TCU after that 5-yard pickup.
And because one thing that has been in play this year over the last couple of seasons is Max Duggan has gotten better protection. His offensive line has grown up a little bit and done a much better job in pass protection and a consistently solid job in the run game as well.
West Virginia's going to call a timeout.
West Virginia. It's called their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Minute 14 until the half, and Horned Frogs will be looking at a 3rd down and 7. These injury updates, previews of the games right up to kickoff on NFL Countdown.
The one thing that Sean McVay did say about that trade is he would have done a bit, if he had a chance to go back, obviously, done a better job of communicating with Jared Goff.
You're right.
And I think that's the one thing that you would change. You certainly wouldn't change that you got Matthew Stafford absolutely playing lights out this season.
3rd and 7 coming here for TCU.
There's equipment in the area in the end zone.
What is that? The band is a little leaking into the field of play in the end zone is what we're talking about.
Was that a xylophone or something that they rolled out into the end zone? They had to roll that back.
There's some cymbals. There's a bunch of cymbals over there too. That wouldn't feel good to go flying into a bunch of cymbals.
They're like, not yet. We still got a $114 here. Here's 3rd and 7 for TCU. Duggan looking. He's going to escape. Duggan inside the 10 and brought down at the 5. Mark it at the 6-yard line. 19-yard pickup for Max Duggan. And they'll go with tempo. To Evans. Trying to get to that left side. And here's a flag come out.
This came back at the line of scrimmage, and there might be a chop block that is involved here. Mesidor got taken to the ground.
Holding. Offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
It's on the senior, Obina Eze.
Eze was locked up on Akeem Mesidor, who is the best player defensively for West Virginia.
Oh my, that's a headlock. So now 1st down and 1st and goal from the 17 to the outside in Johnston. And he's upended at the line of scrimmage. Horned Frogs still have 2 timeouts, less than a minute.
TCU, it's called their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds in length.
So now here, with 1 timeout left, we start throwing to the end zone?
Yeah, I think you can, because you have a veteran quarterback that would make good decisions, and you have an elite closer in the pass game and actually the run game now that Zach Evans is healthy. But you don't score 75% touchdowns, 100% overall, by getting backed up and facing adversity. They had that holding penalty that now has them backed up. So you just call it like you would otherwise, but you want Max Duggan to understand what you're telling the quarterback is really telling himself right now, or you're reminding him of this as the play caller. We have 3 on the board. We don't take 3 off, so if you have something clean, drive it in there. If not, we're happy with that.
Let's see what they come up with. Here's 2nd and goal. They're going to go 5 wide.
Typically, you would say alert quarterback draw right here, but I don't want to lose track of Johnston, who's the slot right.
Duggan. Flushed. Right. Throws to the end zone. It's caught, but was he in bounds? They say no. Johnston came down with the catch, but out of bounds.
It's a really good throw by Duggan to give Johnston a chance. And I don't think Johnston caught it cleanly to begin with. And then the first foot to come down, that left foot comes down out of bounds. But that's the way you have to throw it. Top shelf, let Q Johnston go up and try to make a play.
3rd and goal coming.
We have 3 on the board because don't take the 3 off, but drive one if you have it, Max Duggan.
36 seconds until the half. Johnston at the top of your screen. Duggan flushed again, throws, complete. Williams inside the 5. Clock is stopped. That's a 16-yard pickup.
Are you tempted?
Yeah, it looks. I don't see a kicker coming out here.
4th and goal from the 2.
We're going to talk about it.
You got to use one of those timeouts.
Yeah, you got to talk about it. So wait till it's here, 6 seconds here, and they'll call the timeout. And
TCU did let the clock run. And Gary Patterson, I think, was arguing about the way that was handled.
60 seconds in lane. Clock to 18 seconds, please. 1-8. Thank you.
so 6 seconds. Now 18 for the Horned Frogs, and just like you say, you got 3 points here. Go for the field goal.
Yeah, and that's what you're telling Max Duggan is we have 3 on the board. I don't know why you would want to go for it. Actually, they put more seconds on the clock, but you wouldn't let the clock run down if you were going to try it on 4th and 2 right here. But remember, Zach Evans changes things down here deep in the red zone because of his ability in that run game that's squarely on the table right here.
TCU had just been perfect so far this entire season when it comes to being in that red zone. They either score touchdowns or field goals. The majority of the time, it's touchdowns.
Yeah, and the adversity of the holding penalty backed them up, and TCU is on the verge of overcoming that if they can get this one in the end zone.
They're going to go for it. So here we go, 4th and goal. 18 seconds until the half. This is from the 2. And now West Virginia.
West Virginia, over 3rd and final. Time out of the half. 60 seconds in lane.
We want to talk about it, and you saw they were going to go 5 wide, spread them out a little bit. Hey, you can quarterback draw, you can throw
all
the
kinds
fade.
of stuff. You thin the defense out with 5 wide, but that's the old basketball trick, right? So you last second shot, you let the opposition get set up, and then you call a timeout once they show their hand. So it'll be interesting to see if TCU comes out in 5 wide again. We talked about Q Johnston be the slot at the top. 5 guys, it thins it out. So you're exactly right, because his quarterback draw is squarely on the table for Max Duggan. He's very good at that, by the way. He's crafty with the quarterback draw.
Duggan already with a couple of rushing touchdowns this season as well.
And the strength of this defense for West Virginia is their defensive front. Typically they have 3 down. Down here they're going to have more guys deep in the red zone.
So they're going to kick it now as Griffin Kell comes on the field.
Gary Patterson had too long to think about it.
The junior.
The Bluebirds are out with this
Yeah, they
decision.
wanted him to go for it. So this is from 19 yards out. Kell is 7 for 9 so far on the season.
The delay of game by TCU trying to just create a little more room. It gets a little dicey when the kicker gets really tight to the goal line.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And I think the defensive rush on the field goal comes into play more. It's more visible. And so you get out in the field a little bit further, and this ball has to get up quickly. There isn't any question about it.
So now from 24 yards out for the junior out of Arlington. Snap's good. And the kick is good as well. So the lead is 3 for West Virginia. Hey, this season, along with their contributions to universities' general scholarship funds, for every field goal and extra point made, All-State is donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts, and we thank All-State.
Because one of the parts of Gary Patterson's decision-making that I think was on the table initially, I don't think he's very happy with how his defense is playing. They've given up almost 300 total yards in one half, almost perfectly split by West Virginia in run pass. I don't think Gary Patterson's defense had much of an answer in that first half, so maybe he leaves his offense out there to go for it because of that, but in the end he kicked 3 anyway.
So TCU now still perfect in red zone opportunities, 25 of 25, 18 touchdowns, and now 7 field goals.
Well, this game might come down to which team uses their field goal kicker less than the other squad, is maybe what we get. You score 7s instead of 3s, and the kickers have been active here in this first half.
And I remember the defensive coordinator for West Virginia says, listen, as long as the kicker doesn't beat us, we should be okay. Kickers have beaten us all season
twice,
long.
right?
Yes.
Last second field goals, 2 of their losses.
Hey, don't forget, coming up at halftime, Kevin Connors. He will be there. We got Oklahoma State. They took that loss to Iowa State in Ames. Illinois beating Penn State in those 9 overtime victory for Brett Bielema and his Fighting Illini, and Michigan continues their unbeaten streak. So just 14 seconds. And here's Brown. That should be the final play here of the first half. And it's West Virginia who will head into that locker room with a 3-point lead. West Virginia trying to end that 3-game losing streak they've got. Horned Frogs took a loss last week. 20-17, that's our score here at the half. Coming up after the break, Kevin Connors, Eric McLean in the studio with the halftime report. Welcome back. ESPN College Football. It is presented by Dr. Pepper. 3 points. What separates two schools here? 20-17, our score here at the half. TCU in West Virginia. Brian Custer alongside Kelly Stauffer. You know, at the beginning of this game, we talked about one-score games and how both teams have had issues there in one-score games, and that's exactly what we got here at the half.
I think we might be headed to that. Again, someone's going to lose another one-score game, I think. This was a get-right game for both teams, and so I think this is going to go down to the wire, no question.
Let's talk about the first half and some of the big plays we saw here, and it started at the very beginning in the opening kickoff.
Yeah, Darius Davis says, you know what, I'm going to get the party started right away, and he takes it to the house. 100-yard kickoff return to start this game, and then it was really efficient offenses that got past the 50 a lot. Lenny Brown was the closer multiple times. And Matt Duggan was making good decisions again. This one to Tay Barber, getting outside, extending the play. The long play to right. And then guess what? The closer Brown comes back in once again. Both quarterbacks were efficient. And West Virginia got their run game healthy in that half. Look at that. I mean, you talk about efficient quarterback play. Right there is it.
West Virginia first half drives. You want to talk about efficient. I mean, they basically scored every time they had the football. Now, the drive right before the half was basically a kneel down. But every time they had the football, it was either a field goal or a touchdown. Now, Coach Brown said, we got to score touchdowns against TCU. So they got to eliminate the field goals.
Yeah, it's that. Every other one was a field goal. And that's not, I think, going to work against what TCU does offensively, which is essentially score touchdowns 3/4 of the times they get in the red zone, which is an insane number. But 75% touchdowns when they get down there, and they, oh, by the way, score 100% of the time.
Griffin Kell will kick things away for TCU. Winston Wright is back deep for the Mountaineers. And this is Wright. And he's about 5 yards back in his end zone. He's going to take it out. And he gets across the 20. Neil Brown trying to remain perfect against TCU down to the field, and Lauren.
Hey guys, you talked about this game going down to the wire, and that's exactly what Coach Brown expects out of this one. He expects this one to be a close one. He expects a lot of points to be scored. He said he likes the play of his offensive line so far, but he wants to get the running backs more involved. They've got to take shots downfield. They've got to make those shots downfield. And again, he's expecting 4 quarters in this football game and lots of points on that scoreboard.
Brown so far 2-0 against TCU, and under Brown, West Virginia 39-4 when they've had the lead at the half. They're going to re-kick this one because of the penalty.
And if you haven't been paying attention, both teams really like kickoff return.
Yes, they do.
And they're going to return it any way, shape, or form they possibly can. And then we saw the kind of the shenanigans. We saw the pooch kicks and those type of things in that first half. And rightly so, because both of these squads have guys that can take it the distance.
We said it earlier. Wright had a 98-yard kickoff return against Maryland to open the season for West Virginia. He's 6th in the country, 2nd in the Big 12 when it comes to kickoff returns. He averages about 31 yards a return. And here's the kick. Right again from his own 9. And this time across the 30.
Wright did a very smart thing. They were going to kick away from him, and right at the last minute, did you see him switch? That's how much that young man wants to get his hands on the football in that kickoff return game. Very heady play. Hold on a second, let's switch.
Right.
The old bait and switch, and they're trying, you get over there and catch this ball. Oh, I'm going here. That's exactly what he should do if he knows where the ball is going. And he was about one guy away from breaking this one.
Letty Brown in the backfield. And Brown, right side, flag, first down. He got that edge, but they're going to throw a flag.
Holding. Offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Wyatt Milam, the true freshman tackle, is the one that got called for the holding. And the defender, O'Shawn Mathis, you know, it's that foul in the NBA. You know, you get hammered.
Yeah.
You kind of cry out and raise your hand so the officials see you, and that's exactly what Mathis did. That's good stuff.
1st and 20 now. From their own 21. Dagey over the middle to the tight end, O'Loughlin.
And this is where things can get a little dicey with Jared Dagey, is when you have adversity in a drive, you get behind the sticks. Sometimes that's where his decision-making goes out the window a little bit. The same thing is on the table, just like that. Throw to a big tight end over the middle is a really good decision, but do the ordinary things consistently well if you're Dagey right here.
5 wide here for West Virginia. Dagey looks up, and that one's complete. Sean Ryan.
Two good decisions. You're back in third and makeable, which is where you wanted to be when the drive started. That's really good quarterbacking by Jared Dagey on this play to overcome that setback within the drive.
8-yard pickup. Ryan now with 3 catches and 52 yards receiving for the Mountaineers. Here's Dagey to the tight end again, and he lowers the shoulder. Oh, the Mountaineers love that. That's another first down.
O'Loughlin's kind of a new addition to that pass game. West Virginia hasn't used their tight ends a lot. You come in the short motion, you create leverage, and then O'Loughlin just goes back outside again, and then if you want to come and tackle me, you need to come with more than that, he said.
Onye Mayobi took the brunt of that hit. Dagey over the middle. Nearly knocked away. Could have been intercepted too by the Horned Frogs. But Kendrick Van Zant was in coverage.
And because Van Zant was the defender that quarterback Dagey was trying to manipulate in that run-pass option. But I think the manipulation was done by Van Zant. Faked like he was going into run fit and actually got underneath that pass.
Back to Brown. And he's in Horned Frog territory. D. Winters brought him down. But now, again, another manageable third down coming here for West Virginia.
West Virginia hasn't exactly been lights out this year on third down. Less than 40%. That is not real solid. But Letty Brown looks more like the Letty Brown of 2020 tonight. And so you get in third and more manageable more consistently.
3rd and 4. Dagey. Flush. Throws it away. Kyrie Coleman applied the pressure.
Coleman and then late D. Winters from his linebacker position came up inside, and that combination is what forced Dagey to throw this football away. You see Coleman inside and then back outside as he invites that blocker to go with him, and then D. Winter gets into that kind of that void created by Coleman's rush.
Here's the first punt of the night. TCU is going to call a timeout.
TCU has called their first time out of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Not a timeout that you want to burn on really what became special teams and what's going to go down to the wire in terms of this game.
Especially not this early.
Did you see Gary Patterson, though?
Nope.
He didn't even want those guys to come off the sideline. He waved them like, I don't even want to talk to any of you. And Gary's not a guy that hides his emotions
not at all
on the field. Maybe more so at home, but not here.
How about that death stare he gave him?
Oh my goodness. And then he's still barking going the other way. He just, See, if you're the target of that, you go find a water cooler to hide behind. That's what you do. I've been there.
Tyler Sumter will punt things away. Darius Davis back at his own 10. High punt. Lands at the 5. 49-yard punt. Horned Frogs will have it at 25 when we come back. Amon Carter Stadium, Fort Worth, TCU, West Virginia. 11th meeting between these two schools. West Virginia has won the last 3 meetings against the Horned Frogs. Here's 1st and 10 for TCU. Dre Miller is checked in at running back. And it's Miller. Cutting back and close to a first down.
A very favorable run look defensively. There are 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker, then a second defender jumps up in there, but I run all day into that look. And West Virginia is kind of a 3-3-5 defense, and then they add a 4 to the defensive line structure at times, but man, that was an inviting run look.
Miller again. That's another first down. You get a feeling, especially with Miller, it's only a matter of time before he busts a big one. Listen, he has had runs of 33, 75, 45 yards this year. In fact, he's the only player nationally in college football this season to have 3 touchdown carries of at least 33 yards in the same game.
Maybe the best 1-2 punch, not only in the Big 12, but potentially the country when Zach Evans is healthy.
First and 10. And it's Miller again. And he's loose. Mahone makes the stop, but not before a 28-yard pickup by Miller, the sophomore.
And Mahone is down because Miller is a handful to tackle. You talked about Miller's explosiveness, but he is very thick, lower body-wise, and tough to tackle. But if you're giving me that look, 2 high safeties, a light box, I think TCU would be more than happy to take advantage of that in the run game.
There's Charles Woods. He's the junior out of Dallas.
Because you were all over it with the explosiveness of Miller, and you add a healthy Zach Evans to the equation. This is who TCU wants to be offensively. They want to run it in a physical, violent way down the field and then throw it to a go-to Quentin Johnston in that pass game. When you invite that second safety in the box, the translation in the pass game is Johnston now has one-on-one coverage, and that's not going to go well with you defensively.
So 1st and 10 here for the Horned Frogs from the 39 of West Virginia. Evans has checked back into the backfield. This is from the pistol, and it's Evans, and he's tracked down behind the line of scrimmage by Dante Steele.
And it was a defensive adjustment. There was now 4 defenders on the defensive line of scrimmage. Jared Bartlett, who they call the bandit, but essentially he's like an outside linebacker / defensive end, and it frees Dante Stills up to have a more advantageous blocking assignment on him, and he can blow those up just like that.
He's been doing it his entire career. Team leader in sacks and tackles for loss. It's a 3-yard loss there. Here's Evans again. Amari DeMarcado gets the carry.
And the run game, because is a feel thing. It has a lot of moving parts. The offensive linemen, obviously, getting good fits. Typically, you have an insertion of a tight end or a wide receiver, and then the running back. And all of those things have to work together in order to be successful.
Duggan. He's got 5 wide. Looking, plenty of time, he's going to keep it. And he's got a first down. Mito makes the stop for West Virginia.
You can't cover 5 wides defensively and also check the quarterback, and that's what we saw right there. This is an extension play. It wasn't a called quarterback draw. It was a called pass play. But then you're light in the box because you're covering 5 defenders or 5 wide receivers with a thin defense.
DeMarcado remains in the backfield. Here's a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So Brandon Coleman. He's a sophomore out of Denton.
That sophomore's beating himself upside the head just because pre-snap penalties are like the worst kind. And I would suggest that if this doesn't end up in the end zone at some point on this drive, that Brandon Coleman will get the ire of the head coach when he comes off the field.
2 tight ends for TCU. 6 plays so far on this drive. Duggan, flush, keeps it. And run out of bounds by Lance Dixon. Seven-yard pickup.
Quentin Johnston, we know, because is going to draw double coverage. So you have man-to-man underneath running with him, kind of tailpiping him, and then you have the safety, Mahone, coming over the top. We're probably going to see that all the time, but that's why TCU's run game is working, because that safety, Sean Mahone over the top, takes one more guy out of the run box.
DeMarcado. Bartlett brings him down. Give him 4. Third down coming here for TCU, who is first, the Horned Frogs first in the Big 12 and really 4th in the country when it comes down to third down conversions. They usually convert about 53% of them on the season.
And typically it's because a team really gets into third and short or medium the majority of the time, as TCU has done on this drive.
5 wide again. Johnston at the bottom of your screen. Duggan looks his way, throws, intercepted. Porter stepped in front. Duggan's got to stop him. First pick of the season by Darryl Porter Jr., who Coach Brown told us is his best cover guy.
And he jumps the route because of the down and distance. He knows that Quentin Johnston wants to convert and move the chain, so it's an out route, and then Porter jumps it and does a fantastic job. The question is, did he step out of bounds? I know they think he did. Yeah, no question, he got knocked out of bounds anyway, but you're right. It was down and distance recognition by the best cover guy, Darryl Porter Jr. for West Virginia.
40-yard return for the Mountaineers at the TCU 42. They go with the jet sweep to Bryce Ford Wheaton. Wheaton around that right side. And that's a first down for the Mountaineers. They'll move the sticks.
You want to talk about a complete running back. Liddy Brown being the lead blocker on the fly sweep. And he absolutely earholed a guy and gave Ford Wheaton more room to roam.
11-yard pickup. Here's Brown. Looking for a hole. Corey Bethley makes the stop for TCU. Four-yard pickup for Liddy Brown. Brown now with 59 yards rushing. West Virginia 164 as a team so far on the ground. And they'll go to Brown again. He's brought down at about the 25-yard line. Big third down here coming for West Virginia.
Yeah, a third down that is right on the doorstep of talking about that red zone issue again. And remember the 4 scoring drives with West Virginia in that first half, 2 of them were field goals, and that isn't, I don't think, going to win this game this evening.
And flags have come flying.
O'Loughlin, the tight end, was inching down and is going to get called for this penalty.
87 offense, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
The most basic things: snap count, alignment, assignment. You can see O'Loughlin is going to try to get a jump, the fly sweep motion. But it's those little details, because that lead to you losing close games. You look back at plays like that.
Went from 3rd and 5 to now 3rd and 10. And they give it to Brown, and that play is blown up by the Horned Frogs.
TCU is bringing a double-edge blitz from the offense's right, and if that would have been a quarterback zone read, Daggy probably could have kept it, but I don't think it was. It was a designed run, and 2 guys coming. The first guy misses, the second guy does not. And we have yet another field goal opportunity for West Virginia, not ending up in the end zone once again.
This would be from 49 yards out. Leg's career long is 51. The kick is good. Casey Legg still perfect on the season. 13 of 13 now on the season. He's made 3 of them as the Mountaineers get the pick and they turn it into points. It's West Virginia now with a 6-point lead here in Fort Worth.
Bring Kelly into it, dude. I think he'd go off the rails in a heartbeat.
6-point lead here for West Virginia.
Isn't Barkley Milk Dud Head? Isn't that his nickname?
That's what Kelly Endo says, isn't it? Legg and kick this one away. Davis, DeMarcado. This is a short one. This is Davis. Davis makes a move. We're brought down at the 30. Good stop by Darrell Porter Jr. Of course, had that interception down to the field. Lauren Sisler.
Yeah, guys, so we saw Zach Evans. He missed most of that last drive. It looked like he was kind of working with that right foot. He was very frustrated here on the sidelines, wanted to get back in the game. Then the interception happened. So we know what Zach Evans is capable of on the field, but let's talk about what he did afterwards. After that interception, he walked over to his offensive line and said, hey, let it go, we're good. He picks up a water bottle and starts spraying water on all of his offensive line, making sure each and every one of them is hydrated. I've never seen a running back do that. Walk over to his offensive line and make sure each and every one of them had enough water to get back out here and be fully hydrated.
Dug in down the sideline for Johnston, in and out of his hands. He had it.
Duggan threw a perfect ball, and Quentin Johnston did a great job of fighting through Darrell Porter to track down that ball. That was next level to just go get this. As a quarterback, you want to throw it out there knowing that your guy will go get it and fight through that contact. And Johnston does everything because except finish, and Max Duggan knows that one got away right there.
Oh, man. That's the backup Matthew Downing, like, oh, my, that would have been big. Here's Evans with the carry.
Because I want to know from Lauren, Where exactly was Zach Evans spraying the water on the offensive lineman? That's an important part of the story. Was he actually allowing them to drink it, or was he just, it was a tomfoolery and he was just spraying them in the ear hole or something?
No.
Give us more of that.
He was making sure they were hydrated. You know, these Gatorade bottles down here, they got to spray it in there. Spray it in their mouth.
There aren't many guys on the team could get away with spraying the offensive lineman with anything, but that running back might be one.
Here's 3rd and 6. Duggan to the outside to Evans. He's brought down at the 36-yard line. Chandler Samito makes the stop. And it looks like that's going to be really the first 3 and out of the game here.
That's crazy.
For
and
either
good
squad,
defense, yeah, by West Virginia. You force 3 in a pass down. You defend to force a shorter throw than the line to gain, and then you tackle well. That's really good defense, especially on 3rd down.
Sandy in to punt things away. Esdale from his own 14, driven back at the 10. "50-yard punt, 1-yard loss. West Virginia with the lead. Fansville College Football Update. It's brought to you by Dr. Pepper. And Illinois with the upset over Penn State. Did it 9 overtimes, 20-18.
Insane.
Yeah, and how about Oklahoma? Boy, Kansas looked good for about 3/4 of that game until the Sooners got it going.
That isn't what you told me on the way over here.
Well, I said Kansas.
What'd you say?
I said Kansas turned into Kansas in the 4th
right.
quarter.
I know you're a nice guy, but Kansas turned back into Kansas.
Tony Mathis Jr. in the backfield for West Virginia. Receiver screen. Sean Ryan. Maybe a yard. TJ Carter makes the stop.
And that overtime game, 9 overtime. So first of all, hats off to all the student athletes that played in that ultra marathon. But I will have to say this, some of the worst execution of 2-point plays down the stretch, because you have to start doing that in the 3rd overtime. And it was not the best of times in terms of execution down the stretch in that one.
Yeah, Nittany Lions be headed to Columbus to take on the Buckeyes next week. Here's Mathis again. Over that right side. And coming into this game, you know, we talked about how West Virginia wanted to get that running game going. Look, they're worst rushing offense right now in the Big 12, but they've run it pretty well. Run for about 166 here today. 3rd down coming. And when you look at West Virginia's 2 wins, they've run the football for 185 yards in both of those wins, and they're knocking on the door of that today. Here's Daggy. Looking, plenty of time. Throws, he's got a man, and it's caught by Ryan. C.J. Caesar in coverage, but it's Ryan who makes the catch.
And Ryan did a fantastic job of snapping his route and coming back down what they call the stem, which is essentially where you came from as a receiver. And then Daggy kept the play alive, went from the left side where all the concept was, extended the play to the right and found Ryan.
Letty Brown is checked back in. He's going down the sideline. He's looking for Sam James. That's out of bounds.
In that quarters coverage that Gary Patterson is known for, if you don't occupy the safety, which was TJ Carter in this case, he's going to come off the hash and wreak havoc on that type of a route. If it's too long in the air, you have the coverage underneath, and then the safety gets involved late if that ball isn't there soon enough.
Daggy looking over the middle. Yes, Reese Smith. And Smith is right there at the 1st down marker. In Horned Frog territory, they'll move the stick. That's an 11-yard pickup.
We talked about this because in that first half that West Virginia wanted to attack the nickel defense with their slot receivers. We didn't see a ton of that in half number 1. That was a good example of it right there to Reese Smith.
We got one more quarter, and it's the Mountaineers up 6 here in Fort Worth. You're watching ESPN College Football presented by Dr. Pepper. 6-point lead for the Mountaineers of West Virginia as we begin the fourth quarter, and we begin this broadcast telling you about these one-score records for both of these squads. TCU 1-2, West Virginia 1-3 under pressure. Daggy, he goes down, he's sacked. Corey Bethley.
We were just talking about it at the break. You know, West Virginia methodically driving it, not getting behind the sticks. And then Corey Bethley just blows it up from his defensive tackle position and gets inside pressure rather quickly on Jared Daggy.
7-yard loss, first sack of the night for the Horned Frogs. 2nd and 17 now for the Mountaineers. And that was a dangerous pass by Daggy.
I'm telling you, this is where Daggy gets a little shaky in my book. That ball shouldn't have gone there. It was triple covered. And so you throw to your check down, which in this case was the running back, right? We were both watching it out the booth here. We're like, that's where the guy should go. He doesn't do that. He talked about make the routine plays. The routine play right there was a check down to your running back. Don't throw it in harm's way and try to convert based on what you get on that second down. And now you're third and a lot more traffic on this third and certainly pass down.
3rd and 17. Pressure. Daggy over the middle. It was to Letty Brown. Too low and behind him.
And with running backs, you can do neither. You can't throw low or behind. You got to keep it on their body. But Ford Wheaton was the route in front of Letty Brown, and that's where the ball should go to. Throw it to your wide receiver that doesn't have anybody around him. Those are the routine plays that on tape, Jared Daggy, for some reason, just doesn't find those at times. And Neil Brown said 3 to 5 of those a game. Well, that one may cost his team.
Tyler Sumter punting things away. Davis. And that will go into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. 52-yard punt. Horned Frog football when we come back. 6-point lead for West Virginia.
And we talked about Jared Daggy just not finding the right receiver at the right time. The first one, 2nd and long after the sack, forces it into coverage. And then the 3rd and pass down, he doesn't hit his crosser. Ford Wheaton, just throw it to Wheaton, and I think Wheaton might have ended up in the end zone, let alone a first down. Those are the plays that Jared Daggy needs to make in a close game like this.
He's completed just one of his last 4 attempts. Here's Max Duggan. Duggan just 1 of 3, including a pick. That one intercepted as well by Charles Woods. And Woods inside the 20 and brought down at the 15. So Duggan now 1 of 4. 2 interceptions. The first for Woods of the season for him.
And I'll be honest, because this isn't a bad place to go with the football. It's just a wrong ball to throw. You need to flatten Quentin Johnston off to the sideline. You can't float this into that safety, Charles Woods. If I drive it to the sideline and flatten the receiver, Johnston, off to the sideline, then we're good to go. But you can't float it with the safety on the hash, or Woods is going to pick it off.
Charles Woods got the Horned Frog faithful upset here in Fort Worth, but you know, Woods is in with for Nick Troy Fortune, who went out in the first quarter with a knee injury, and he's not going to return. But he's come in and played well here for West Virginia as Brown gets the carry, and he's hit maybe a yard.
And TCU is really in the process of having decided that Liddy Brown is not going to just methodically drive the football anymore in that run game. So stacking people in the box to take away Liddy Brown, which means Jared Dagey is going to have to make some efficient plays in that pass game.
Inside the red zone. Dagey to Brown. Cuts back. Brown inside the 5 and brought down at the 3. Onyemeobi makes the stop, but 11-yard pickup for Liddy Brown, who's now got 71 yards rushing.
And rightly so. West Virginia is in no hurry to snap the football. The more time this takes to get in the end zone, the better. But remember, the theme thus far is too many field goals or field goals attempts and not enough touchdowns right now for my money for West Virginia.
2 tight ends. It goes to Brown. Brown, 3rd touchdown of the evening for Liddy Brown, as he gets in from 3 yards out, and you can see Coach Brown saying, let's go for 2.
Yeah, Liddy Brown and company need to get the memo because they're still celebrating the touchdown. This was the counter play. You see the counter step by the running back and then running right into your living room.
Ooh.
I think brother Darren could have scored from there.
Yes, he could have. All of us.
All 3 of us at the same time, I think.
From that
was impeccably well blocked by West Virginia.
So the Mountaineers will go for 2. Dagey looking. And that was to the tight end, O'Laughlin.
That was that prototypical move your tight end and then get him out in the flat quickly, but well defended.
So after the interception, 3 plays. And it's West Virginia with another score. They extend their lead to 12. 4th quarter, 29-17, West Virginia at Mountaineer. He's got 2 turnovers, and the Mountaineers have turned it into 9 points, a field goal and a touchdown. They've gotten off of both of those interceptions. And for TCU so far this half, an interception, a punt, and another interception. And they'll start from their own 29-yard line. The West Virginia defense has come up here pretty stout here in this second half.
And we knew coming in that West Virginia defended the run really well the entire season. They have 4 tackles for loss, the 1 sack, a couple of picks.
Please reset the play clock.
And I go back to what Coach Brown told us when we visited with him. He said, number 1, we got to get turnovers. Number 2, he said, we got to run the football. We got to limit their run game. We got to score in the red zone, and our special teams must be special. Zach Evans looked special on that run.
Well, most of that is true, right? The run game has gotten healthier, 174 yards. They have only been averaging a little over 100 this season. And so they wanted to get the run game healthy, but also the takeaways. The defensive coordinator, Jordan Leslie, said, we just have to get our hands on many more balls, and we have to be more aggressive, and that's what it looks like.
That's a first down. You know, coming into this game, you know, West Virginia only had 2 interceptions this season. They had 11 last year, but just 2 this season, and they've got 2 here tonight.
And Max Duggan had thrown 95 passes this year with only 2 picks. 13 touchdown passes coming into tonight, only 2 picks. And tonight he's attempted 17 and already has thrown 2 interceptions.
Kendre Miller has checked in into the backfield. He gets the carry. Brought down in midfield. 6-yard pickup for the Horned Frogs.
Officials timeout. An injury to a defensive player.
That's Akeem Messidor, the sophomore. He's their best defensive player for West Virginia. We're going to take a break as they a team.
West Virginia wanting takeaways, and they got a couple. Darryl Porter Jr. jumps on the out route intended to Johnston, and that was a really good play. And this one, I think, Duggan got fooled. Flattened the receiver to the sideline, and it's a much safer throw. But I think Charles Woods actually baited the quarterback a little bit and didn't go for the post over the middle and hung on that route to Johnston late.
This is 2nd and 4. Miller gets the call. Legs churning, and they're going to mark that one. It looks like about a yard shy of a first down. Jordan Jefferson makes the stop for West Virginia.
I think the line judge from our side gave a much better spot than the official from the opposite side.
Yeah, you're right. 3rd and 1. Miller tripped up as he got the football, but it's enough for a first down.
And Lauren had talked about Zach Evans hurting a little bit on that right side, but now he's back in the game. But Miller has gotten more touches in the second half.
Here's Duggan, back to pass, and that was batted. Like Jordan Jefferson again.
And the big boy in the middle just kind of like blocking shots. If you're not going to get pressure on the quarterback, there are other ways to affect him, and one of them is just like that, where Jordan Jefferson simply gets in the pass lane to that crossing route.
2nd and 10 now. From the West Virginia 44, Evans. Chandler Semedo makes the stop. 3rd down coming here for the Horned Frogs, and we're under 10 minutes left in the game.
The 3-by-1 set, the one being Quentin Johnston, split wide right to get him hopefully a one-on-one situation.
Johnston at the top of your screen. Darryl Porter Jr. in coverage, but it's Evans.
4th and 2, what you got?
4th and 2. Little play action.
Down by 12, you certainly keep your offense out there, and this is kind of pedal to the metal time for Gary Patterson. That run game has looked really good with Zach Evans. Maybe the repeat of that last play.
1 of 2 on 4th down for TCU. And they go to Evans, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Semedo again, Chandler Semedo. Whoa, he has been on, it seemed like, every tackle on this drive. And boy, did he blow that up.
Chandler Semedo certainly anticipated Zach Evans getting the football just like I did. The run game had worked well, and then Chandler Semedo is in his stand-up position and essentially is using a pass rush technique to get to the running back in the 4th and 2 run game.
He's been a tackling machine. He's got 9 of them here tonight. He's 2nd in the conference, came in total tackles. He's West Virginia's career leader in tackles, and man, did he make the biggest one so far of the game. Letty Brown gets the carry. Hey, don't forget, you got top-ranked boxing tonight from Atlanta. Main event, Jamel Herring, the champion, defending that WBO junior lightweight belt against the unbeaten Shakur Stevenson. Plus, you got Muhammad Ali's grandson, Nico. He returns to the wing as well after winning his professional debut. Main event starting there 10:30 Eastern here, so it's starting here very soon on ESPN Deportes as well. To the outside, receiver screen, forward to Wheaton. Wheaton down the sideline, cuts back, and finally forced out of bounds at the 29-yard line of TCU. 27-yard pickup.
It's a guaranteed way of getting your best pass receiver a guaranteed touch. Just throw the down screen outside, have your fellow receiver get just enough of the defender that's trying to keep outside leverage, and then Ford Wheaton gets his down the field.
West Virginia coming into this game, losers of 3 straight, but coming off a bye where they had gotten embarrassed against Baylor. They said they got healthy, spent the week looking at what they have been doing right and wrong throughout the first half of the season. What have you seen?
For an injury to an offensive player.
Out of West Virginia, as looks like that's the tight end, O'Laughlin, who is down for West Virginia. What have you seen out of the Mountaineers here, considering they're coming off that bye?
The first thing that jumps out is the run game. They wanted to get their run game healthy, and that's who Neil Brown is as an offensive coach that's now the head coach, is the run game sets the table. Liddy Brown wasn't himself this year, and I think it's a combination of things. The run game always is, but up front they weren't getting a good fit. They weren't consistent. They weren't sustaining blocks. And Liddy Brown was getting a little impatient, and he was pressing it. He was jumping outside too soon. His wheelhouse is in the box, and he's done that tonight more often. So you have that, but you have the takeaways also. A couple of interceptions. They want to, quote, get more hands on the ball today. And Liddy Brown is a really good closer with the football in his hand, but he has to do what he does best, which is keep it down Main Street and only press it outside if it's late. Press and insert at the point of attack consistently and patiently, and only bounce it when it's there to be bounced. And that's who he has been tonight. And the result has been, I think you said, their 2 wins this year, 185 yards rushing.
Yep.
They have 179 as we speak. They'll probably surpass 185 on this drive.
Touchdowns. West Virginia had been averaging 108 yards rushing this season as a team. They got 179. And Liddy Brown, you see him there with 3 touchdowns. As Ford Wheaton gets the football there. Liddy Brown's got 3 touchdowns here tonight. He's the first West Virginia player with 3 rushing touchdowns in a game since Kennedy McCoy did it. He had 3. That was 4 years ago, back in 2017.
And now we're 3rd and long behind the chains, and so Jared Daigie's going to have to make a really good decision on an important 3rd down right here.
So here's Daigie in West Virginia. 3rd and 12 from the TCU 31. Daigie looking over the middle, complete. And how about Ford Wheaton powers himself and close to a first down, maybe about a yard shy. 11-yard pickup, needed 12.
Very simple concept. Ford Wheaton just goes down about 5 yards and sets down, and the tight end goes out in the flat, and it's a 2-way route. And then Jared Daigie made an accurate throw and got rid of the ball quickly.
So here comes Casey Legg. He's been perfect so far. He's been perfect on the season as well. This is from 38. Low and blocked. So special teams makes a play for the Horned Frogs as they block that field goal. Down 12 and 5:39 to play.
And you said low kick. That kick did not look healthy to me. I mean, it did get blocked ultimately, but Casey Legg seemed to drive that one right into the line of scrimmage.
O'Shawn Mathis. Whoa, look at the hops on him. And Coach Patterson. His Horned Frogs down 12.
European College Game Day.
Lead for West Virginia. Here's Duggan. Looking over the middle, and that's complete. Quincy Brown makes the catch. They'll move the sticks. How about the hops here on O'Shawn Mathis? He blocks that field goal.
And that's straight up, too.
Absolutely.
36 inches plus.
Duggan over the middle again. That's complete to Quentin Johnson. And he fumbled a football. It's loose. And another turnover for the Horned Frogs. And again, it's Charles Woods who comes up with a play for the defense. He's got a pick, and now he recovers the fumble for the Mountaineers.
West Virginia defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie said, we just need to be more aggressive, less hesitant. And when the ball's on the ground, we need to claim it. Ball's in the air, we also need to claim that. Be more aggressive at playing the ball in the air, and Charles Woods comes up with another one.
What a rip by
rip.
Mahone.
All of that is good stuff, and that's the aggression that Jordan Leslie was talking to us about that his defense has lacked. And takeaways come on the defensive side by being aggressive, violent, and without hesitation. And more times than not, West Virginia has been that tonight.
Here's Brown. Maybe a yard. D. Winters. And he's still going. I thought they were going to stop his forward momentum, but no, they didn't. The whistle didn't blow, and it went from maybe a yard to 24.
And at least a couple of guys in close to 500 pounds on the back of Letty Brown. I said that Letty Brown is one of the ultimate closers in this game, and this is the reason why. Yards after contact is the guy that West Virginia wanted to show up tonight. Well, that's after contact, about all of it right there.
He's over 100 now. And West Virginia looking to put to bed that 3-game losing streak they had coming into this game. And it looks like the Mountaineers are on their way to their 4th straight win over TCU.
And certainly the TCU fans at homecoming weekend here would concur as they're leaving for the exit as we speak.
This is Letty Brown's second 100-yard game rushing this season and the 9th of his career. Brown again gets the carry.
You know, one thing that we didn't see as much of as we thought was Garrett Green in that little sub package as the quarterback read option runner. We saw it, I think, only one time, and he had an explosive play.
Yeah.
But it's been Letty Brown supplemented by Tony Mathis a bit, and that run game for West Virginia seems to be alive and healthy again.
Down to the field, and Lauren.
Yeah, guys, Kelly, exactly what you were talking about, having that supplement in Tony Mathis. There was some concern this season about the number of snaps Letty Brown was playing. Coach Brown wanted to get some help in the backfield. And with Letty, they monitor his workload in practice with the catapult system and have emphasized recovery time and nutrition with him. And they really felt the bye week came at a good time.
Yeah, and Lauren, just keep in mind what Letty Brown does best is the most violent part of being a running back, running in the tackle box. And he's an extremely good box runner, but it takes its toll. And last year they had Alex Sinkfield, and we've talked about that, and they don't have that slasher anymore, but they still need someone to supplement those carries in the backfield, and Tony Mathis seems to be rounding into maybe the number 2 guy.
He certainly been the number 2 guy here tonight, and he's in right now. Cuts it back.
And in all fairness with Tony Mathis, he had a really good spring, Neil Brown told us, and then he got his knee nicked a little bit. It slowed him down. And so at a time when they thought they had Mathis to become that true number 2 guy, he was nicked up. And so it was late coming, but Tony Mathis seems to have arrived now.
5th time in this game that West Virginia has been in the red zone. 2 tight ends. Mathis gets the carry. Bounces it outside. Mathis inside the 5, but a flag.
Sean Ryan, the wide receiver out wide, is going to get called with probably the hold and or the block in the back out at the point of attack. The art of holding. Sean Ryan needs to get that.
Holding, offense, number 10, 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Still 2nd down. The clock will start on the snap.
So Sean Ryan simply needs to anticipate when the running back bounces out to you. Initially, you can get away with holding as long as it's not away from your body. But then when the running back bounces it and is in your backyard, you have to let go and just square up on the defender. And in that case, Tony Mathis would have gotten his own anyway.
So it looks like TCU here will go 7-4 now against, or West Virginia will go 7-4 now against TCU.
TCU has called their 2nd time out of the half. 30 seconds in length. Please set the game clock to 1:30, please. 1:30.
Gary Patterson's squad is going to drop to 3-4, and
thank you.
The hot seat talk isn't going to lessen, even though I think by and large it's ridiculous, quite frankly. But Gary Patterson hasn't forgotten to coach. He had some NFL guys leave at the safety position, which is paramount in his system. He had 2 safeties get hurt, and he got young and younger on that side, and the safety position is the epicenter of what Gary Patterson does defensively. He doesn't need an apologist, but there are reasons why these things happen.
Yeah. So far it was West Virginia's defense, the story of this game, coming up with the turnovers. 3 of them for the Mountaineers. Mathis. And the end result was 9 points for the Mountaineers off those turnovers.
They had 2 takeaways coming into this game. No interceptions.
Final time out of the half.
And West Virginia had 2 fumble recoveries. But the defense is eyes on the ball and go get them. Pressure up front, which has been intermittent. And then Porter Jr. jumps on the out route to Q Johnston, and then Charles Woods goes up and takes a ball away that quite frankly should have been thrown in a different manner. And then the aggression, when someone catches it, go claim the ball anyway. And West Virginia has done that tonight much more aggressively than they have throughout the season.
Coach Neil Brown will go 3-0 against TCU. He's a minute and 22 away from that victory. So 4th down for the Mountaineers. This is Mathis. They'll turn things over to TCU, and we take a look at our Chick-fil-A college football rankings. Of course, Georgia, top team in the country, gets a bye, and Man, Cincinnati barely got by Navy.
Navy had a chance, didn't they?
They did.
Recovered the onside and then threw a pick.
Yep.
I mean, that thing went down to the wire.
How about Ohio State? All of a sudden, them Buckeyes, man, after Sefrin had lost to Oregon.
Some woke up in that bunch.
Yes, they had. They got Penn State, and Oregon knocked off UCLA. That's another good win for them. They knocked them off the Buckeyes, obviously, earlier this season. Duggan to Evans, or Tay Barber, I should say, and Barber brought down at the 40. 23-yard pickup there. Those turnovers just the difference here for TCU. Duggan loads up, throws over the middle. No one there. We take a look at the conference standings here in the Big 12. Oklahoma at the top after they get that win over Kansas, and for West Virginia, they will finally get their first conference win, and TCU fall to 1-3 in the conference.
And I'm not a believer in Oklahoma remaining on top there. Down the stretch, they'll have Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. I don't think they come out of the season unscathed, let alone in this conference. So you saw a few one-loss teams below Oklahoma. I think this is going to be a race to the finish line all the way through.
Oh, absolutely. It always seems like, especially in the Big 12, Iowa State always waits till October, November and say, okay, now we're going to play football.
Yeah.
Start knocking people off like they did with Oklahoma State today. Second and 10. From the 48 of West Virginia. Underneath. That's Marcel Brooks. Plenty of time for Duggan now. Sacked. Steele has had himself quite a game for the Mountaineers as well. And that should do it. Daggy 21 of 28 for 257, no mistakes. Lenny Brown finishes with 110 yards rushing. But more importantly, West Virginia gets 3 turnovers. And they're going to walk out of Fort Worth winners, 29-17. Coach Brown still unbeaten against ECU. He goes to 3-0 against the Horned Frogs. Coach Patterson will go to 4-6 as his record against West Virginia. And that's going to do it here from Fort Worth. Kelly Stauffer, my partner, Lawrence Sisler, and our entire crew. Brian Custer, thanks for joining us. Coming up next, it is ESPN College Football. It is presented by McDonald's. Norfolk State, Howard. Our final, 29-17. Let's send you to Green Stadium in Washington, D.C.